draft contracts to mobile app presentations, sales videos, PowerPoints, infographics, everything you need in order to go out and market this effectively to your clients and close deals. Next up is the white labeled help desk. Once again, this is available to you within your reseller account. Basically, we've compiled thousands of different articles on everything from building applications to setting up, specific features and even sales tips. So definitely recommend checking those out. Those have all the business apps branding removed, so if you're engaging with clients, you can utilize those articles in order to educate them on how to navigate the platform. Next up is our white labeled video tutorials. We have an extensive library of, once again, everything from selling into specific industries, building apps for specific industries, successful practices of resellers, all of which can be accessed through our Vimeo channel. So I highly recommend taking some time to go through those. It gives you a great overview and keeps you as prepared as possible for when you're going out and selling these applications. Finally is our Business Apps blog. Andrew takes a lot of time and effort and is really passionate about keeping all the content in there fresh and up to date. He writes daily articles on not only business apps and the direction of where we're headed, but also articles on the industry itself. So some fantastic ammunition for basically becoming an expert in all things business apps. It really helps when you're reaching out to clients if you understand the ins and outs of the industry, the trends that are popular, and everything that you can offer with regards to your products. So highly recommend taking advantage of that as well. So first up, just want to give a little background on myself. Why are you guys listening to me? Obviously, I am the Director of Sales over here at Business Apps. My entire career has been in sales. My first role was actually working as an account manager for some of the largest tech companies in Silicon Valley, companies like Motorola, Symantec, Juniper Networks, a number of other clients as well, working to get in touch with high-level managers, executives, setting up in-person meetings. So I've really done the full sales cycle from lead qualification to cold calling to in-person meetings to closing those deals. I was recruited to come to Business Apps as one of the only reps with any outbound sales experience. So came in and we all worked together to really devise a sound selling approach with our existing team. Since I've been here, our sales have really skyrocketed. So these are some proven practices that have really helped me and guided me through my career to a point of where I'm at right now. So obviously that's why leading up these webinars to endow to all of you some of the tips and tricks and qualities and characteristics that I've tried to tune into myself in order to become a more well-rounded sales professional and increase my overall business IQ. So now let's get started. So this is just going to be a short webinar basically going over some of the top qualities of a sales rep, and I think that it's important to outline these in order to give those of you who don't or might not have a lot of sales experience a really solid foundation to build upon. The qualities that I'm going to cover in this webinar is exactly what we look for when we're hiring new sales reps to come on board and produce for us. And these are the same qualities that my mentors had passed along to me when I first got into sales. And by honing in on these qualities and really thinking of myself as a whole versus just individual parts has really proven to be fantastic for my sales career and has allowed me to get in the position that I am today. So first up, I just kind of want to cover today's world and how things have really changed. So if there's one thing consistent in sales, it's that nothing is consistent. As generations come and go, so do the sales processes that are paired with them. But throughout each generation, we always have the top reps in each industry. You know, in the early 90s, cold calling was the way to get in touch with clients and close deals. I mean, it was the way that business was conducted. Today, it's still, you know, very prevalent, but with the introduction of Facebook and Twitter accounts and all of the available social media platforms out there, it's more of a multi-tiered approach, more so than ever. But one thing has remained true is that the qualities of the top reps have not changed. In each generation, no matter if you look back 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, and today, there are top reps in every industry and famous sales individuals, Zig Ziglar, all the greats that share the same qualities. So what we're going to cover are those qualities, the things that are really timeless, that are going to help you in your sales career. So as I mentioned, you know, with the influx of all of the social media platforms and just the vastness of the internet, you know, we refer to this as really an information age where clients are just as savvy as the reps that are selling to them. They have access to all of the same information with, you know, the blogs and forums. They can get the insight. If you guys have checked out Warrior Forum, I know that they go into depth on, you know, the Business Apps Reseller Program along with competitors out there. So clients have more and more access to information. Now, what's unfortunate is that sales reps believe that by simply mastering their own product, they have, you know, 100% guarantee of closing a client. And the fact of the matter is that just doesn't work. You know, many instances, if that's what a rep is focused on, purely their product, they're going to come into contact with a customer that knows more than them. And really, that's just not a situation that you want to be in. So one of the first qualities in terms of a successful sales rep is to never stop learning. You know, as a direct result of this massive influx of information for all to see, sales reps really need to be on their A game 100% of the time in order to thrive in this industry. You know, a successful sales rep can't stop, you know, when the work bell sounds at the end of the day. If you want to consistently grow your sales, you need to consistently commit to growing your business acumen, you know, always testing new practices, theories, and strategies, and really never stopping that desire to learn and grow as a professional. I, you know, am constantly reading articles from every major publication. I follow blogs of some of the top sales consultants in the world, and just by, you know, doing that, you can implement new strategies each and every day to become, you know, the most well-rounded rep that you can be. And that's really the focus of our webinar, is the rep as a whole. There's not a single characteristic or a single strategy that works for a great sales rep. They really are a combination of, you know, hundreds of different theories and books and articles and seminars and webinars that allow you to approach every situation uniquely and close clients, you know, regularly. So aside from the curiosity factor, one of the top qualities of every great sales rep out there is being more of a hunter versus a gatherer. Now, what do I mean by that? Top reps love the thrill of the hunt. They are excited. They're always looking towards achieving that next big deal. You know, prospecting, cold calling leads. They enjoy the grind. And that's really, you know, what sales is. It is a constant grind. You know, I'm not saying that you can go out there, make 50 calls and get 50 sales. And I know that a lot of you know that, but it's important to understand that you can learn from the lows. There are going to be days where, you know, you go out and you're getting shot down left and right, but you should never fear or loathe the process of hunting for that next big deal. The top reps in every industry, to use a quote that I love, is they're never out of the fight. They're always implementing those missteps and mistakes and learning from them and seeing them as opportunities. So always be excited for the thrill of the hunt. Tomorrow is a new day, and by taking advantage of perhaps those mistakes or missteps, it just makes you better prepared for the next day. So the glass is half full, or I guess in sales the coffee pot is half full. As you know, we're all caffeinated being in sales. So learn from those lows and be optimistic. Optimism really is key. It is a numbers game, and at the same time, each call, as I mentioned, whether positive or negative, has the opportunity to have a lesson wrapped up in it. So another part of being a hunter versus a gatherer is to set small goals. Because you're going to be out every day boosting your activity, making those cold calls, it's sometimes can become a daunting task. I feel like a lot of reps that I interact with, a lot of the guys that we hire on here have somewhat unrealistic expectations. For example, many of the reps when they're first beginning cold calling and the sales process expect to close that $1 million deal on day one, right? And that's what we all dream about. But the fact of the matter is, it does take time to ramp up your pipeline, fine-tune, your pitch, and develop really the confidence necessary to sell, especially if you don't have any prior experience. So by setting small goals that you can achieve each day, it gives you the ability to look back on a full day's work and really have qualitative data that you're working towards your goal. Whether it's hitting, 50 cold calls a day, or, simply spending 30 minutes reading up on the industry, or, learning more about your product. At the end of each day, you should feel like you've accomplished something. And that's critical of being a hunter. You're not simply showing up to work and throwing it against the wall hoping something sticks. You really have a set approach. You can track your progress, and really all it's going to do is build your confidence, as I mentioned, for the days when you might not hit those numbers, or you might get shot down more often than you're getting the green light. It's going to give you the confidence necessary and create a solid foundation for the next day. And once you can wake up and have that confidence and not fear the process and look back on the goals that you've achieved, it really is off to the races, and it really does become a game, and it's fun to get out and make those calls and close those deals and really see yourself progress as a sales professional. So another characteristic of top reps, in addition to that hunter versus gatherer mentality, is empathy. And I entitled this slide, "Empathy Wins Hearts and Minds." Now, you're probably asking, what is this guy talking about? But another fantastic characteristic is just that, being empathetic. What that allows you to do is really identify with your customers. By identifying with your customers and going above and beyond the stereotypical sales relationship, they feel more respected and more willing to work with you. So do your homework on the business, and if you've attended my previous webinars, the one prior to this one was Mastering the Meeting, and one of those keys was doing homework on the business. Same goes for this. In order to be empathetic, you have to understand the business that you're reaching out to. What are their pain points? You're the one who's trying to solve them. And the key really is to not pass judgment. That can be tough when you're addressing the issues of a small business owner, but you really want to demonstrate that you're on their side, that you're looking to help solve their problems and not just boost your bank account. So it's critical to show concern, construct a sound solution for them and then resolve the problem that they have. So having empathy is crucial to a successful sales rep. Now, paired with empathy is focus, and focus truly is empathy's best friend. Now, obviously, I know a lot of you are thinking, of course I need to have focus. You know, this isn't third grade. I get it. I'm on board with you, but I really want to demonstrate how all of these work together as a cohesive element. So in addition to showing empathy, you know, top performers really demonstrate outstanding focus. By working on staying focused, your skills as a sales rep will grow tenfold. I guarantee it. You know, a focused individual is someone who is more in tune with how they operate day in and day out. And really the end result is if you're lacking in any areas, you know which ones, and you can really immediately alter course in order to fix those problems. So staying focused is key, and really the best advice I have for harnessing or increasing your daily level of focus is to become obsessed with the minutia. And the devil really is in the details. You know, just an example of myself. Each day when I come into the office, I make a to-do list of, you know, the things I need to accomplish for the day, and I utilize, you know, whether it's the notebook on my iPhone or simply just a pad and paper. The reason being is as I work through, you know, each one of these tasks, I can pay attention to the details of everything that I'm doing. So if it's leaving voicemails, I can make sure to note my tone of voice. You know, am I upbeat? Am I speaking too fast? Or if I'm sending emails, you know, what's important versus what's just filler. Then as I complete each task, you know, I can look back and have a better idea of those areas that I need to improve upon. So take advantage of the tools that are available to you. As I mentioned, I use just my iPhone notepad, but there are a number of other goal setting apps out there, just to-do list apps that are really intuitive, allow you to set times for everything that you need to accomplish, and then, you know, you can look back on that, say, hey, that's right, I did, you know, I left 15 voicemails and I wanted to work on my tone of voice. I did that, or I need to work on that tomorrow. So by really thinking through each task versus just, you know, doing it blindly, picking up the phone and calling 200 people, you become a more well-rounded rep, and you know, as I mentioned earlier, more focused on everything that you're doing, so that you can really polish yourself to become a total sales professional. And really what it boils down to is, you know, a focused rep has the ability to not only listen to a client, but then identify that issue that they're having. And this relates back to, you know, being empathetic, is identifying that issue and then coming up with a clear and concise solution, or closing that client. And really that's, you know, the point where both parties win, right? You've just created a new business relationship. You've closed your first sale or your 1,000th sale, whatever it may be, and you've solved the problem for that small business owner. So focus is imperative when paired with empathy and having that excitement of that hunter-gatherer mentality. Next up, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Now, what could I possibly be referring to? I know a lot of you are probably scratching your heads, but I promise there's a method to my madness. Follow-ups are no joke. So far, you know, we've outlined that the top reps are excited about hunting for prospects, you know, always in search of the next deal. They're optimistic, always learning from those mishaps and mistakes. They show empathy for their clients, understanding and relating to their needs. They're focused. They study their own sales game, but also, you know, what their clients are dealing with, so that they can better approach them day in and day out. And we pair that focus with that empathy to create a strong as oak sales approach. Now, The final characteristic that I want to cover for today is persistence. Now, if you can find one successful sales rep that isn't persistent, I am begging you to give me their phone number, their contact information, because I will quit my day job and go work for them. Persistence is really so pivotal in today's world. As I mentioned when I first started this webinar, we're in a technological age, and it's saturated with a constant bombardment of emails, phone calls, text, status updates, Twitter feeds, Snapchats, Instagram, and there's dozens of other social media platforms that, are coming onto the market that I don't even know about, that I need to go and never stop learning, go do my homework and learn about those. But ultimately, getting back to this is it can be difficult to get noticed. That is why persistence is so key. So I just want to include a couple of statistics in order to get my point across. So when I first started this webinar, I talked a little bit about how the times have been changing and how cold calling was the way to go for so long. On average, in 2007, it took about 3 phone calls in order to reach a prospect. Today, that number has jumped up to a minimum of 8 attempts in order to reach a client. Now, that right there is an example of how you need to stay up on top of where things are going, where the trends are, and how to best navigate them. Now, the average sales rep only makes 2 attempts. So 8 attempts to reach a client, the average rep gives up after 2. Now, another interesting statistic is that 80% of sales close after the 5th phone call following the in-person meeting. How many of you, what percentage would some of you guess that sales reps give up after? Or how many attempts? I see some of you type in. So 44% of sales reps give up after 1 follow-up. So clearly there's a massive dissonance between what reps do versus what actually works. And what I'm getting at is you need to constantly engage with your customers in order to close the sale. And I know a lot of you say, we know this, it's not rocket science, but the numbers don't lie. The average rep is unaware that, they're basically taking themselves out of the game by not being as persistent as they need to be. Now, a disclaimer here, I'm obviously, not saying to bombard your clients with 10, 15 phone calls and emails a day. However, having a clean, well-designed follow-up process really is key. But you need to be persistent. Sometimes it can be tough, don't get me wrong. But when you pair that persistence with excitement, optimism, empathy, and focus, there really are few deals that you won't be able to close. And finally, the last statistic that I want to get to, which is up there on the screen, is 91% of customers give referrals, but only 11% of reps ask for them. So once again, I think that, we as sales individuals sometimes sell ourselves short. We need to go that extra mile, be fearless, ask for those referrals, because our experience over here at Business Apps is once you close your first sale, if you can get a referral from that client and then go to the next business owner and say, I just built an app for, John across the street and this is what he had to say about it, that makes your job 100 times easier. He's more likely then to give a call over to John. Small business owners are a network in themselves. They talk amongst each other. They, are really a tight-knit group, and he'll reach out and say, what do you think of the app? Does it work? Is it worth my time? And that word of mouth, that referral is going to help your sales take off. So don't sell yourself short. Be persistent and ask, when others don't. And I think that you're going to see that, your sales are going to really skyrocket just by going that extra mile. Now, people have asked me, what's the best way to stay persistent without being annoying? And I like to reference how our sales reps operate over here at Business Apps. We try to reach out to our potential clients on a weekly basis. Now, some clients obviously, would say that that's too much. However, those individuals, they're going to tell you either way. So if it is too much for them, then great. You've just cleaned out your pipeline a little bit. You put them into a tickler file and reach out to them every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks or never again, which obviously if you've done sales, happens from time to time. So I think a weekly basis in follow-ups is really great in terms of keeping fresh in their mind while not being a nuisance. So just to recap, I really hope that today, I've given you just a few qualities. Obviously, this isn't a comprehensive list, and jumping back to what I mentioned earlier, sales is a constant work in progress. There's never going to be, be these 10 things, and you're going to be, the greatest sales rep to have ever lived. But it is a combination of those 10 things or 13 things, whatever it may be. So just to recap, show excitement. You guys have had the courage to start your own mobile app companies. It's not easy, and we applaud you for taking that leap of faith and trusting us to help you build your business. But be excited. You're starting your own company. It's a very exciting thing, and make it a game. Enjoy each day. See each day as an opportunity to grow as a sales professional, as a rep, and keep in mind that you have a support staff over here at Business Apps behind you with you every step of the way. So keep excited, make it fun, and enjoy the ride. Next up is optimism. Obviously, sales is a grind. We all know that, but being optimistic is key. Seeing that coffee pot as half full is going to make a world of difference in how you're approaching those clients, approaching that list of cold calls on a day-to-day basis. You wouldn't believe how, just by the tone of voice can really demonstrate to an end customer, how you feel about that call. If you call them and you sound like this versus calling them and sounding like this, it does make a world of difference. They think, man, that guy's, he's excited. He wants my business. He wants to work with me. So hold on to that optimism. It really is crucial in being successful in sales and watching your sales really grow. Next up, empathy. Listen to your clients, relate to your clients. I cannot stress this enough. The sales process is not about you. You are a problem solver for your clients, but it's their problem. And you need to understand that, you're their expert. So work with them. Understand why it is they're even meeting with you. Why do they want an app? What are they hoping to get out of it? Work through their issues with them and solve their problems. Next up is being laser focused. I can't stress enough, by having a to-do list, staying as organized as possible throughout the day is going to make a world of difference in not only realizing where your areas of improvement are, but also just by doing these small details, by tracking everything, you're going to be better prepared when something might go wrong. And that's another thing, is you shouldn't prepare for when everything goes right. You need to prepare for when everything goes wrong. Being focused, studying the minutia, getting down to the devil in the details is really what's going to set you apart from the other reps that are disorganized or aren't doing their homework on the businesses that they're reaching out to. And finally, persistence. Persistence is so pivotal to being a successful sales rep. You just aren't going to have the ability, especially in today's world, of making one call and closing one sale. It takes time to ramp up your sales pipeline. It takes time to grow your sales, but if you pair the other 4 characteristics all in one with persistence, you really are going to be unstoppable. And I think that just by becoming aware of these characteristics, implementing those into your day-to-days, you're not only going to see a growth in your sales and your business acumen and professional confidence, but you're also going to, grow your business and grow professionally and personally. So finally, if you guys need anything at all, please do not hesitate to let us know. We have a full support staff on site here just waiting for your questions. They're an amazing group of individuals that understand the ins and outs of the platform. They can give tips on selling applications, and their response time is lightning fast. So our support team is just chock full of rock stars, all of them. So feel free to reach out to them. We're here to help you. If you'd like to speak to somebody live on the phone, feel free to give us a call at the number listed right here on the screen. Once again, we're all standing by to answer any questions that you have, or you can contact your individual sales rep for more information on any of our programs. Once again, a team of just complete all-stars. They understand how to navigate the sales process. They can also give you all the information you need on the reseller program, the CRM, Business Web, basically any of the products under the Business Apps umbrella. So give us a call. And that's it for today. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that I gave you some useful tips that you can take along with you that are going to help you grow your sales acumen. If you need anything else, like I said, reach out to us. It has been a pleasure speaking with all you today. And thanks so much for your time. Have a great rest of your evening.